Ryan Longwell kicks to Will Blackman. Flash bulbs popping everywhere. Off we go from downtown Minneapolis. Blackman returns to the 25, tackled by Hussein Abdullah. And here comes Aaron Rodgers. You know, people like to compare Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers has started exactly as many games as Tavares Jackson, the Minnesota backup, until tonight. This is his 20th start. The record's poor. The other numbers are really good. He hasn't had much of a running game the last year, plus has an offensive line that's banged up. Part of the story here tonight. Opening drive from the 26. Ryan Grant left. No gain.
The Packers choose to spread him out here on 2nd and 11.
Rodgers, a little check down to Grant, and the running back has the game's first down. At the 39, Madieu Williams, the tackle, a gain of 13.
Well, that's one way to slow the pass rush down. Aaron Rodgers gets a high percentage completion. You're going to see a screen to the left side right here. Good phasing. You see Jason Spitz get the kick out at the numbers. Nice job by Jordy Nelson, number 87. That's a big completion.
Mike McCarthy told us that he would like to get Aaron Rodgers comfortable early in the game, the short, quick passing game and the screen game.
Second run for Grant. This to the right. Donald Driver got a good block for him. Out to the 45-yard line. The Vikings want a holding flag on that. And we'll see if they get it. There's a flag down. And our referee is Gene Steratore.
Like Driver hooked in Tawan Winfield right there.
Holding. Offense. Number 30. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
Oh, John Kuhn, the fullback, number 30 instead of Driver 80. But I'm with you. Driver and Winfield tied up there. This crowd's going to be very loud and impact the game tonight when the Packers have the ball.
Well, this is not what Mike McCarthy wanted. He said we got to eliminate sacks. We must eliminate penalties. These down and distances are killing Green Bay early in the season.
Chad Greenway brings blitz. Rodgers gets rid of it quickly. Jermichael Finley, the tight end, tackled by Winfield. Only a gain of a couple of yards. Second and 18. Quick dump to Donald Lee, the tight end. Hurdling across the 40 and a couple of yards shy of the first down. Guys, they're getting rid of it quick to beat the pass rush.
That's another screen pass.
Yeah, screen pass is going to be big in this game. You want to slow down the rush any way you can. You can see Donald Lee right there in a little tight formation. Chips on the pass rush of Ray Edwards. Then the quick release by Aaron Rodgers. Get the ball in space with offensive linemen out in front. And, of course, that will slow down the pass rush as well when Aaron Rodgers gets rid of the ball quickly.
Vikings lead the league in third down defense.
Gain of 16 leaves 3rd and 2. Deshaun Wynn is the back, and we have markers down, killing this play. And Aaron Rodgers say, hey, wait a minute, Ray Edwards, I can hear the whistle, why can't you? What, are you kidding me?
False start. Offense. Number 78. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Alan Barber, right tackle.
You know, when you try to do a lot with the snap count in a noisy place like this, sometimes it really hurts your own offensive lineman. They send a receiver in motion, they restart the cadence, and you see the right tackle, Barber. He's got to peek inside, Ron, and see the ball snapped. That's tough sledding in this noise early in a ball game.
Tough enough you have Ray Edwards bearing down, and you got to turn your head back in to see the ball and key the ball for the snap.
Pressure comes from Williams. It was picked up, and Rodgers throws complete to Greg Jennings. First down, and they're 4 for 4, picking up Rodgers out of the gate.
Aaron Rodgers does an outstanding job of identifying the single coverage. You see the perfect throw to the outside. He knows he's got Antoine Winfield matched up one-on-one with Greg Jennings. He located the isolation, took advantage of it. Excellent route, drives back to the outside. Accurate throw with a lot of zip on it from Aaron Rodgers.
Packers do this a lot. Full house in the backfield. 3 backs. The first down, another quick throw. That time Driver couldn't bring it in. He's 5 flags, or 5 catches shy, I should say, of Sterling Sharp's all-time record for Packer receivers.
I think that's what Green Bay wants to do. They want to vary the setup of Rodgers. 3-step drop, slow him down with a screen, and mix personnel groupings. That time they had 2 fullbacks, a tailback. Mike McCarthy's throwing a lot at the Minnesota Vikings here early.
And, John, I think the next step to that will be some play action and then some movement outside the pocket. That would be part of the plan.
Second down, handed off inside to Grant. Gain of about 3. E.J. Henderson heading on in there to make the tackle on Grant. Ryan Grant, very productive year when he came over from the Giants a couple of seasons ago with 1,200 yards, 1,203 to be exact, but his yards per carry have gone down. Last year, a holdout with a contract and a hamstring injury, and this year really haven't been effective running the ball as they need to be. He's out. Wynn is the running back on 3rd and 7. In the seam, caught by Jermichael Finley, the tight end, to the 25. First down and a gain of 17.
I'll tell you, Aaron Rodgers is off to a great start. He's using everybody. Quick shotgun. It's hard to throw the quick passing game out of the shotgun, but he does a great job looking off coverage and throwing a strike to a 6'6" tight end. That's what I like about Jermichael Finley. He can play in space.
John, you nail it with the eyes. He looked out in the flat, and Chad Greenway just jumped the flat route and opened up a big old window to throw the football in there to Jermichael Finley. To Jermichael Finley.
Great opening drive, a first down toss, nobody open. Jared Allen forced it out. Recovered by the Vikings, Brian Robinson. Minnesota ball. Favre is waiting here for a minute to take the Viking offense out because that play was challenged by Mike McCarthy. Was it a fumble or not? Let's take a look at it. The key is to watch Rodgers' left knee, and I think this is clearly a strip sack and a fumble. No doubt. Ball is out there. To Jared Allen, who's done that 18 prior times in his career, combines with Brian Robinson.
Well, when you throw the ball quick, you tell your tackles we have to be aggressive and cut block these defensive ends. Therefore, the quarterback has to get rid of the ball, and if you hold it too long, those defensive ends get up off the ground, and guys like Jared Allen, they do not quit. They are relentless. They continue to hunt, and that's a case right there where Aaron's got to check the ball down or get rid of it. That guy right there is scary.
Yeah, and Aaron did have Ryan Grant available to him. He decided to move to his left. Consequently, you get the fumble. Brian Robinson coming from his right, and Jared Allen on his left.
All right, here's Gene Steratore, the referee, with the challenge result.
After review, the ruling is confirmed. It was a fumble recovered by Minnesota. First down, Minnesota. Green Bay will be charged with its first timeout.
And they'll only be able to challenge one more time here tonight. So that gives the Vikings the ball at the 33-yard line. And Favre and the offense will get going. And, well, I guess, guys, that surreal moment has arrived. For the first time, Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers on the same field, but on different sides. And a ton of flash bulbs going off like it's the opening kickoff of the Super Bowl. Peterson to the left, gain of 7 out of bounds. You know that scene every year we're at the Super Bowl and all the flash bulbs go off at the first snap? That's what it was like here in the Dome as Favre got that ball.
I tell you what, they're going to run the ball to the left side, and watch Percy Harvin in the slot, number 12. He drives the corner off the field. That's a great physical start for the Minnesota Vikings. He got Tramon Williams off the field on that block.
People focus on Harvin's speed. He loves to hit people. Matched up in the slot with Charles Woodson here on 2nd and 3. Peterson right. Good cut inside. Brandon Chiller trips him up a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and that much.
You know, this short yardage situation, this was an area Brad Childress was saying he might take a shot down the field. Packers like to bring in those extra linebackers against these multiple tight end sets. I wouldn't be surprised if Brett Favre's first pass is a hard play action here in this situation.
Yeah, they like to play what they call that big Okie. 3 down linemen, 5 linebackers, and 3 secondary players. You can get a matchup against one of those linebackers. They would like to take advantage of that if they choose.
Third and short, stretching it to the left with Peterson. Stops on a dime, lowers the shoulder, first down. And take it to the 45. Man led the NFL last year. First time a Viking running back was the leading rusher in the league. 1,760 yards. And how about that 180 he had in the opener against the Browns? Just picked up right where he left off, and he's murdered the Packers in his 4 times against them.
Well, he has every element in a running back that you want to have. The speed, the power, the quickness, the lateral agility. He can block, he can pick up the blitz, and he just plays with an edge. He's a violent runner.
Fourth play, 4th Peterson rush. First throw. Caught. There he is. To the 35. Gain of 17.
There's a play Brett Favre understands. X-slant. He's been doing it forever. But it looks like Green Bay, they're playing nickel against the Vikings. 2 tight end sets, but what a great delivery. And Favre knows if you throw that slant a foot in front of the receiver's numbers, you got a chance to run with it.
Quick count from the 36. Peterson up the middle. Gains a couple of yards. Let's go back to something we talked about in Monday Night Countdown. And we have a late flag coming in from the sideline.
Unsportsmanlike foul, taunting, defense, number 54, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's on Brandon Chiller, who saw a lot of action last week in their setup, 3 down linemen, 5 linebackers. And there he is yapping, standing over Adrian Peterson. That was an easy call for the umpire.
That's 3 big penalties on Green Bay already. That kills you.
Yeah, well, that flips the field real quick.
Vikings in the red zone at the 19. Darian, who was in short motion. Woodson shows him the sideline, a gain of 3. I want to come back to that point that we made in the pregame. That Brad Childress, if Favre's emotional, he's throwing rocket balls and it really has the adrenaline pumping, Brad Childress can help calm him down by calling plays that'll keep him calm.
Absolutely. Let's hand the ball to Peterson, which they've done 5 times already, and let's throw a couple high percentage throws that Brett really likes, and they've done a nice job getting him a couple completions. Let's see if they can finish the drive.
Sidney Rice coming with Favre, got it. Hit hard by the man who called for the flag a moment ago, Chiller. On 3rd down coming up.
Well done by Brett Favre. You'll see the action fake to the inside to Adrian Peterson. He knows got Sidney Rice coming across. Nice high percentage throw. Positive plays for Brett Favre. Get him into the flow of the game early.
Quick out to Berrien on the edge. Breaks a tackle, leans forward. Depends on the spot. Right at the mark. Aaron Campman, now an outside backer over there. As right on the yellow line. And that's where the chains are, on that far side. So it should be a first down. Tramon Williams couldn't stop him.
Well, that's what Brad Childress told us. Favre has more freedom than any other quarterback he's ever had here. And he'll give him the green light to pick that ball up and fire it to the outside and take his chances with his wideout.
You know, that was a very good mark by the official over there, because that right hand came down out of bounds, and it's where the ball is as soon as you are in contact with out of bounds. So they marked it in a very good spot, and correct spot, I should say.
It's fourth down. It looks like the Vikings will go for it. Favre comes back on the field. And you see number 38, the fullback Tahi, coming out. You assume they're going to go with the short yardage people.
It'll be interesting with Ryan Pickett, B.J. Raji's in the lineup. There's a lot of beef out there for the Packers.
You see the private box where Brett's wife Deanna and family are sitting. She looks like it's the fourth quarter and the end of the game, not the first drive. Fourth and an inch. Peterson, first down.
You get in short yardage, give it to Adrian.
A run behind Steve Hutchinson, your all-world left guard, and that's just what they did. Hand the ball to a great back behind a great left guard in a critical 4th and inches. Gutsy call by Brad Childress.
Yeah, and B.J. Raji, their first-round pick from Boston College, just kind of submarined him, and Steve just laid on top of him.
First and goal. Here's Peterson. Tries the left side. Gets it to the 2.
That's the beauty of Adrian Peterson. The Green Bay Packers did an outstanding job at the point of attack. They showed good gap discipline. But watch Peterson. At the point of attack, he stopped. There's the great vision. He's able to get to the outside, the acceleration. You must play with discipline on the edge as well as the point of attack.
It was a nice hold by Sidney Rice out there, wasn't it? Oh, jeez.
Wasn't hold, it wasn't called.
That's right. Peterson's run at 7 of these 11 plays. Touchdown, Shenko. Another long-time former Packer, Ryan Longwell, on for the extra point. Visante Shenko, the tight end, caught it. After Jared Allen and Brian Robinson combined for the strip sack, the fumble, Favre and the Vikings take over. 7 Adrian Peterson runs, Favre 5 for 5, and Visante Shenko catches his second touchdown of the year. Will Blackman will bring back the Longwell kickoff. And he'll do it from the 5. Nice down the sideline. A little bootleg giving Rodgers some time to throw. That was nearly intercepted. Greg Jennings, the intended receiver. Winfield read it and almost picked it. Second and 10. That is the fullback, John Kuhn. Nice carry out to the 38. Allen and Henderson tackle him. Packers did move the ball well on that opening drive, Jaws, but Allen, the disruptor, caused the turnover.
Well, Allen comes off the corner better than anyone in football. And Darren in college, he's going to have his work cut out for him today. College normally a left guards, but moved out to left tackle because of the injury to Chad Clifton. He has struggled against those speed edge rushers, and that's exactly what Jared Allen is.
Clifton inactive tonight because of the ankle injury. Third and 5, the Vikings bring 5. And Rodgers throws downfield for Finley, who made a great move in the open field. And Jermichael Finley takes it to the end zone and in. Touchdown, Green Bay, 62 yards.
We talk about the mobility and pocket movement and awareness of Aaron Rodgers. Pressure. The Vikings defensive line was in his face. Watch the movement. Moves to his right. Finds Finley down the field. Throws the ball accurately on the move.
You see Finley knee down as he reaches out there toward the goal line. The official had hustled down. He was right on the goal line and had the great view of it. Finley, the second-year man out of Texas with a big score. Extra point added by Mason Crosby. And let's see what Percy Harvin can do with the kick return. Last week, Harvin brought one back 101 yards against the Niners for a touchdown. Yielding it at the 1. Good directional kick to pin him in. And then well covered by the Packers, with Corey Hall and Tramon Williams making the tackle shy of the 20-yard line. From the 18, a rocket down the middle for Berrien, incomplete, covered by Tramon Williams. With Harvin in the slot, they get it to Percy, who ran around Schiller and Jenkins, but slips and falls and is down for a big loss. Good job by Cullen Jenkins, forcing him back.
Well, design quick screen. They get the ball to Harvin out on the perimeter with blockers in front. He says, you know what, I'm going to go all the way the other side. Sometimes you better just take it north and south.
The speed of defenses at the NFL level are surprising to Percy Harvin right now.
Chester Taylor comes in as the back, 3rd and long. Packers rush 3, and Farr's pass is incomplete, intended for Taylor. Good zone defense behind it. 3 and out for Minnesota.
Well, that's a 3-man rush, 3rd down and 15. And that's one of the things Favre was talking to us about. They're not totally on the same page. They're still growing offensively. Looked like he didn't know which way Chester was going to turn, over his inside shoulder, outside shoulder, but that's a routine play.
Yeah, that system intelligence is fine, but it's a little nuance as the play is developing that they're not quite on the same page yet.
Chris Kluwe punts for Minnesota. Blackman catches on the run at the 40 and brought down right there. Carl Payman did a nice job in coverage. Well, so much of this melodrama has played out over the last 17 months. There's Ted Thompson, executive VP, general manager of the Packers, played linebacker in the league. Has been a part of the Green Bay scene for the early Favre years, then went to Seattle to run the Seahawks organization. He came back as the GM. It was up to Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy to make the decision to move on, as I like to say, take control of their franchise and not wait for Favre to decide will he or won't he, and invest in the young quarterback they drafted in the 1st round, Aaron Rodgers. And without a doubt, this is the day Thompson hoped he'd never see Favre playing against his Packers. Rodgers from the 41 to Finley. Caught the touchdown, then gets a gain of 9. Tyrell Johnson the tackle. You know, guys, I'm reminded of our visit with Ted Thompson last year before the Packers played their first game in the regular season without Brett Favre, and he said it was really hard signing that paper as a GM. When it's a trade, you got to sign the paper. Signing the paper that traded Brett Favre away from the Packers.
You know, it was a difficult decision. There's no question that. But if you saw Aaron Rodgers like Ted Thompson did for 3 years, you knew you had a guy that was going to be your quarterback for a long time. Tough choice, but the right choice.
Ryan Grant, 1st down run into the secondary to the 43-yard line.
I think you got to respect the courage and the confidence that Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson showed. They knew what they had, and they needed to get Aaron Rodgers on the field. This is no business for the faint-hearted, guys.
16th largest metropolitan area in the U.S., Minneapolis-St. Paul, or 4.5-hour drive from Green Bay, and a few have made the trip across the border here tonight. All tied at 7, 2nd quarter, Monday Night Football. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Ron Jaworski, Michelle Tafoya on the sideline. After a good 1st down run by Grant, Rodgers is sacked. Took a direct shot from Ben Lieber.
Aaron Rodgers normally very good outside the pocket. He got on the edge, and usually he can find somebody open. Here he boots out to his left, eyes downfield, but Lieber just had a beat on him and put a shot on him. Rodgers normally would get rid of the football here, but Lieber was on him so quick, he didn't have a chance.
Loss of 7. Good play by the former San Diego Charger. Has been on good defenses the last 4 years. Second and 17, Grant. That initial hit by Pat Williams was big, or else Grant may have had a bigger gain. Let's go back to the Cowboys with Emmitt Smith to find the other time that was done. Top run defense, top rusher in the league.
The Packers go empty, no one in the backfield. Here comes the pressure.
And Rodgers throws, caught by Driver. Takes it up the sideline and might be close to field goal range with that pickup. It's going to be 4th and a couple and a field goal attempt of 53 if they choose.
Yeah, and you see the pressure coming on Aaron Rodgers from his right side. You know we had the single coverage down the field. Didn't have time to get a look at it, so he checked it down to Driver. Close to the first down, but in field goal range.
And they're going to go for it here, or at least show that they're going to go for it on 4th and 3.
I think it's a good call. You're in that red zone fringe area. You got a great young quarterback. Let him play.
Finley, the tight end, to the bottom of the screen. And Rodgers throws. It's off Driver's hands and caught on the deflection by Jennings for a first down. Out of the hands of Driver, hit by Henderson, deflects in the air, and Jennings got his hands on it. Ruled a catch.
Well, you'll see the quick looky pass to Donald Driver. Bounces off his hands, and Jennings, Johnny on the spot, makes the catch.
The question is, as it came close to the field, did he have it before it touched the ground? They're telling Childress to challenge. He gets the flag. Nope, they couldn't get the flag thrown in time. Grant runs to the right. Winfield spills him for the loss of a yard. Very comical. There's a red flag, the challenge flag on the 40. The word came down from the booth above to challenge, and you got people scrambling to try to get the flag out of Brad Childress's back pocket to throw it.
Yeah, now you're going to have a replay to see if he threw his flag in time. There's that guy, Jennings, coming out of nowhere and making a play. That's just playing football in great concentration. I think it's going to be incomplete.
Gene Steratore, the referee, his mic wasn't working properly, but he did say that the challenge flag did not come in time. So the play counts, no challenge, and it's second down.
See, John, when you work with Mike, he could read lips as well. That's beautiful.
That's impressive, Mike.
I'm still cracked up by assistant coaches running each other over to get the flag out of Childress's pocket.
Favre was running on the field. Everyone was involved.
Second and 11. Rodgers' throw is intercepted by Winfield. Well, you got the ball without the challenge. 21st career interception for Antoine Winfield. The Vikings will take over at their own 23.
I can tell them what went wrong. Antoine Winfield did an outstanding job of looking back in the backfield and reading the drop of Aaron Rodgers and timed it perfectly, jumping the O-cut.
From the 23, here's Peterson up the middle for 3, and let's go back to the interception.
Well, here's a great play by Antoine Winfield. You see Aaron Rodgers throw it to the outside, and Antoine does a great job of baiting Rodgers. Watch him open his hips, and then he's going to plant and drive. That's an excellent play by a Pro Bowl corner, but that's a tough place on the field, Ron, to throw an out route because Winfield doesn't have much field to defend.
Well, if you're the Packers now, you catalog that and say, hey, we get in another field position again. Let's try a double move on that one. If he's not getting out of his back pedal, we got to run by him.
Packer injury. Cullen Jenkins had gotten up for a moment, then went back to the ground. We'll check on Mike McCarthy's defensive end. 3rd and 2 for Favre. Rocket shot caught by Rice. Tramon Williams fell down. First down.
That was a confident throw by Brett Favre, and he really had to trust Sidney Rice. Tramon Williams was really in good position with his tailgate. Brett looks out to him, and he's going to slide this one in the backside shoulder. What a terrific throw.
Watch Charles Woodson in the slot against Percy Harvin. He said, I'm going to mix it up, and he did right there. That's like watching Hearns and Hagler.
Gain of 24. Peterson out the back door. First down.
Mike, we opened the telecast tonight talking about gap discipline. You give a little gap to Adrian Peterson, he will find it. Goes to the right there. Now he sees that seam. Oh, you see Ryan Pickett right there. He lost his gap, and Adrian will find it.
Gap discipline. They got gap discipline. Sometimes it doesn't matter with this guy. You can give those clinic speeches all you want.
There's no sports car you can stop on a dime and turn that fast and get up to speed. He's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, John.
After the gain of a dozen, Chester Taylor will run. Favre looking deep. It was covered. Takes a shot anyway. And it's incomplete. Aaron Campman, a longtime teammate of Favre's, took him to the ground.
I tell you what, I used to coach.
Got a flag.
I used to coach this guy, Charles Woodson. One time he's getting Percy Harvin. Now he's taking Shanko out of bounds.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 21. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
I don't know. That's good old Raider bump and run football right there. Charles Woodson, he's having as good a year as he's ever had, and he's lining up against anybody that wants to play against him.
After 12 years in the league, Favre unloaded the ball. It was his old teammate Campman taking Brett to the ground. So a gain of 24, a gain of 12, the penalty on Woodson. From the 28, Peterson. No place to cut back that time. Johnny Jolly with a loss of 2.
All right, John, let me give you my clinic speech again. If you maintain your gap discipline, you have a chance to stop Adrian Peterson like they did there. Every single play, you must win your gap and hold it.
You know, watching Brett Favre play quarterback against the Packers, I remember all the years where he was in Green Bay wearing that red jersey. Don't hit Favre. Don't hit Favre. Yeah. And these Packers are trying like crazy to hit Favre right now.
In some ways, Campman's been waiting 7 years for that shot at him, right? Peterson's run 11 of the 20 Minnesota plays. Now he's got a catch. Taken down in the open field by Al Harris.
That's impressive. That's one of the things people wanted to see Al Harris do, is tackle. He's been a bump and run artist in coverage. Nobody does it better. But now he's backed off the ball. He's playing zone coverage. And this is a NFL down for a corner. This is a business decision right here. And that's really impressive by Al Harris. Dom Capers told us this guy does it all. He's an outstanding tackler. Got a lot of pride.
Dom, the old head coach in Houston and Carolina. Now the defensive coordinator of this 3-4 for Green Bay.
Woodson playing a game with Favre.
3rd and 11, a shot in the seam, cut by Berrien. First down.
Any questions about Brett Favre's arm are dispelled right there. That's that little void in that cover 2 behind the corner in front of the safety. Very few quarterbacks make this throw on a consistent basis. Look at this laser over Al Harris to Berrien just before the safety can get there. What a throw by Brett Favre.
And it's big if the Vikings can get Bernard Berrien back in their offense. They've missed him. He struggled with that hamstring early in the year.
Last week's hero, Greg Lewis, first snap on the field tonight. Top of your screen. Caught the game-winning touchdown pass from Favre. Peterson, Campman, Barnett. and Clay Matthews, the first-round pick, combined for the stop.
They're trying to run the ball on the edge. All the Packer players told us last night, Peterson is really working to get the ball to the outside. And the last 2 times he's tried it, Green Bay's done an excellent job of forcing it back to the inside where their help is. That's impressive defense.
You know, John, I've studied Peterson coming into this game. He's run 27 times to the left for 168 yards, 27 times to the right for 168 yards. Pretty good balance.
Replaced by Chester Taylor here. Favre throws to Nafahu Tahi, the fullback. Tackled by A.J. Hawk. 3rd and long coming up. 3rd and 11. Packers bring Woodson off the corner. Favre throws. Touchdown. Sidney Rice. He knocked Chester Taylor down on that one.
Well, there's nothing textbook about this. Looking left, giving ground. That's amazing that he can do this.
Look at the eye discipline. Looks left, pumps left, falling backwards, throws a strike to Sidney Rice for the touchdown. You know, if you're teaching young quarterbacks, this is what you teach them not to do. Yet Brett Favre, he gets it in just about every time.
Couple of Green Bay turnovers, couple of Minnesota drives for touchdown. And like the first scoring drive, Favre hit all 5 of his passes. First touchdown pass to Schenko, that one to Sidney Rice. Blackman got a running start, took it from the 5. And Will spilled at the 25, and he's shaken up, grabbing his left leg. One of 2 Packers injured on that kick return. Blackman immediately grabbing for that left knee. So check on the injured Green Bay players. Matt Giordano, backup safety, one of the 2 Packers who were injured, got up and walked off under his own power. But unfortunately, Will Blackman, the punt returner, has not. And great concern over there. Let's watch his left leg as he plants and goes down in a heap. Terrific punt return, John. We were talking about that before the game. This guy's returned punts for touchdowns 3 times in his career.
Outstanding return, man. 55 kickoffs he returned last year. He's returned 3 punts for touchdowns the last 2 seasons. This guy does it all in the special teams for Green Bay. Hope he's all right.
Jordy Nelson, the 3rd wide receiver, one of the 2 number 3 wide receivers. They use Nelson and James Jones about as much equally at that receiving spot. Nelson would likely be the guy to take over a kick return, both kickoffs and punts. Packers take over from their own 25. And Rodgers swings it out, and Deshaun Wynn dropped it. The 25, Rodgers, 5-yard gain. A hard hit on Donald Lee, the tight end. So he was your graduate assistant when you were coaching at the University of Pittsburgh. Who were some of the guys who've influenced him along the way?
Well, he's been well trained. Paul Hackett was the head coach, great offensive mind. Went on to Kansas City with Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer has had a real impact on Mike in terms of turnovers, how to run a football team. But I love that guy's work ethic. I mean, he loves football 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Third and 5, Rodgers couldn't get away from Allen. Ray Edwards and Jared Allen combined for the sack.
Jared Allen matched up against Darren College. That's the matchup that favored the Minnesota Vikings. You'll see College number 73. He gets a good initial jam on him. But look at Jared Allen. He's persistent. He's got great energy, a high motor. works to get to the quarterback and brings Aaron Rodgers down. What a motor.
Third sack by the Vikings tonight. Lefty punter Jeremy Capanos kicks. Jamar Johnson from the 26. Brought down to the 44 by the long snapper Brett Good. There'll be good field position for the Vikings. Favre taking over from the 43 as Peterson runs left. Tied up, and they took the ball out of his hands, and it'll be a touchdown for Clay Matthews, the rookie. Adrian Peterson, who has the strongest hand you'll ever find, but has had fumble problems. He was held up, and they took it out of his hands. And that's what you talk about, John. The Packers every day in practice work on holding them up and taking the ball away, and that's what they did.
What a huge play. Dom Capers came to Green Bay as the new defensive coordinator, has really put an emphasis on it. But take a look at this. Here's Peterson. The ball's in his outside arm, and out of nowhere, Clay Matthews, who's got pretty good football genes, by the way.
I would say so. The whole family
Does a great job of ripping it out of his body. That is a big-time play.
Wow,
Huge turn
ripped
event.
it out, took it back to the end zone. Tie this up.
42 yards on the return. That is the 15th fumble by Peterson in his 2 years plus 4 games. And Matthews gets his first NFL touchdown. And Ron, we talked about it just a moment ago with Mike McCarthy. They drill this every day, much to the dislike of the players, over and over. Strip drill.
Yeah, they
pays dividends.
They work on pounding the ball out, punching the ball out. The players don't like some of those drills, but this is when they begin to like them. You'll see the first 2 tacklers hold Adrian Peterson up. Then Clay Matthews comes in, and he's just going for the football. They've got him stopped. The second, third, even fourth guy come in, punch the ball out, rip it out. Whatever you got to do, jar the ball loose.
And I'll tell you, Colin Jenkins, number 77 for the Green Bay Packers, is playing with an unbelievable motor tonight. Sideline to sideline. He's giving Steve Hutchinson all he wants in there at left guard. But what a turn of events here.
You may have heard this anecdote. When we've done Viking games, other folks have done, you shake Adrian Peterson's hand, you feel it for a day. It's amazing to me that a guy with those hands, so strong, so big, has lost more fumbles than any running back in the league the last 3 seasons. 15.
Mike, he runs, with such violence. He's always fighting for the extra yard. Rather than going out of bounds, rather than go down, a lot of times he's going to take that second pop, that second, third pop, and a lot of those are the hits that jar the ball loose.
Yeah, but what you do as a head coach, and I'm sure Brad Childress will do it right now, you come right back to him. You just go over there and say, hey, we're coming right back to you, big fella.
Peterson got off to a pretty solid start. 10 carries for 46 yards, but since then, a run for -1, a run for -1, that one for -2, and the fumble. Percy Harvin in a tie game. He is popped by the fullback Corey Hall.
I know we're a long way from the field, but I felt that one up here.
Wow. Welcome to the NFC North rivalry, Percy. That was a nice strike.
You got excited there, John. Oh. A little coaching mentality came back when you see that. A little quiet in here right now.
See 21 of our 28 points off turnover here tonight. Peterson out for the moment. Chester Taylor the back. Favre shot downfield. Berrien adjusting to the ball in air. Incomplete. Here's Michelle.
Well, guys, kick returner, punt returner Will Blackman left the field. He left on a cart. This is him a few minutes ago getting taken off the field. He's going back for x-rays on his knee. It's that right knee, and his return obviously is doubtful, Mike.
Okay, Michelle, thanks. That'll be a big loss, not just tonight, but beyond, if it is as serious as it looked when Blackman came off the field.
Green Bay's already lost a couple safeties. They can ill afford many more injuries in that secondary.
Yeah, their starter, Kari Bigby, is out this evening, out on the field. You're pretty thin there.
Second down. Here's Taylor running. He was popped by Brandon Chiller for a gain of 3. Really enjoyed visiting with Brandon Chiller last night. He's a guy who wasn't playing much, but they went to a different defense last week with Steven Jackson, Jaws.
Yeah, and I thought we'd see a little bit of it tonight because, you know, Steven Jackson, the go-to guy for the Rams, Adrian Peterson tonight, that 3-5, that big Okie, and Brandon Chiller had a big game last week, but he's making some plays tonight. Not in the big Okie, John, but he's making some plays.
Brandon Chiller already in on 8 tackles here in the game tonight. Jaws was all over that.
That's why I invited him to the production meeting yesterday.
3rd and 7. Here comes the pressure. Favre zings it complete to Rice. First down to the 35. Gain of 16.
Well, here's one of the things that's a little bit strange on a 3rd down and long situation. Take a look at it. They're going to blitz both inside linebackers and drop Aaron Campman into coverage. He's got Chester Taylor, the screening back.
For Aaron Rodgers, over the last 13 years, after that great era of quarterbacks we went through the 80s, not many people have done what he's trying to do. Replace a Hall of Famer, replace a legend, and continue to be a playoff team. Some of the tasks that he has over the next few seasons. And the first head-to-head here tonight. Chester Taylor, big opening. Gain of 19 into Packer territory.
I was waiting for a screen pass. The Minnesota Vikings do this as well as any team in the league, and they love the screen to the left. Take a look at it. Watch left guard Steve Hutchinson, number 76. He usually leads the screen. They get the ball out on the perimeter, and Chester Taylor is as good a receiving back as there is in the NFL.
Yeah, and some props to John Sullivan, the center. Got out in front as well, John.
Minnesota, full complement of timeouts against the 3-man rush. Strike for Harvin. Made a man miss. And Harvin, first and goal to the 4. Gain of 42.
Well, is that down the field enough for you, Jaws?
Yeah,
That's a laser. That's a 1997 vintage Brett Favre bullet. All go special. He looks right down the field and hums it, man.
This guy's going to be 40 next week.
Now say this, Percy Harvin, he's coming alive as a wide receiver in this league. He just got hit on a kickoff return. That's a way to come back and make a big play.
Minnesota in no hurry, trying to milk the clock here. Didn't use a timeout. Peterson checks back in. Favre intercepted. Did Woodson hold on? Let's see. There's a flag down too. We got a couple of things. First the flag, then did he hold on? The quick shot was intended for Sidney Rice.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Offside, number 55. A penalty is declined. Also pass interference. Defense, number 21. That foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down and goal, Minnesota.
Here's the interference flag.
I don't know.
Man.
Now you got to reward excellence once in a while. That looks like a great play. That guy's making a phenomenal play in that situation, Woodson.
You still have the offside flag. In any case, first and goal for the Packers with 3 timeouts. And Favre gives to Peterson. Touchdown.
Defense, number 51. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, touchdown.
Well, Adrian Peterson atoned himself for his fumble. Little misdirection to fake the tie and give it to Peterson back on the left side behind Steve Hutchinson and Brian McKinney. John Gruden may have scored on that one. It was so well blocked. That's the Dayton Flyers.
You saw the jump by Papinga, the offside. It didn't matter. Longwell adds the extra point. Some kind of game, huh?
I can't even get over the first half he's put together, Jaws.
Woo. I mean, he's made every throw. I just can't imagine this guy next week, 40 years old. I mean, the ball is spinning. He's accurate. The throws, those seams are getting about 9 feet off the ground. It's just phenomenal.
But just look at the interaction on the sidelines. It's just fun to watch him interact with his teammates.
Yeah, we were back here in the preseason out at training camp, and clearly Brett Favre brought an energy and attention to the Minnesota Vikings, and the players are feeding off that. They love the spectacle you have here tonight. You know, Minneapolis has been buzzing all weekend. It's been great what Brett Favre has done for the city and this organization.
Jordy Nelson now back to return kicks for the Packers. Second-year man has it from the 6. Up the sideline, nice return to the 38. And a flag is down on the return.
During the return, holding, return team number 62. 10-yard penalty, first down Green Bay.
2 timeouts, 25 seconds. Rodgers incomplete as Jared Allen was ready to bring him down.
Yeah, when Jared Allen gets in these situations where he can just go get in that jet technique and just take off after the quarterback, he is one tough hombre to block. You'll see him here coming off the edge against Aaron College. This is just too much speed, too much quickness. He's back there almost before Aaron Rodgers had a chance to set his foot in the ground.
A sack and a half and a couple of other hurries.
Green Bay might just want to be real careful right here with 21 seconds and get back to the locker room.
Hey, remember, Minnesota has all 3 timeouts, too. They can force them to punt it. Deshaun win the run. Gain of 4, timeout Vikings. 3rd and 6. Rodgers buying time. Got rid of it for a big first down pickup for Deshaun Wynn, who got out of bounds. It's big because the Vikings would have called a timeout, would have gotten the ball back, and maybe had a shot to the end zone, a free play, if you will. But they won't get their hands on the ball on offense again this half.
Be interesting to see what Mike McCarthy dials up here. 6 seconds, move the pocket, maybe throw one of the Hail Marys into the short side of the field. That's all you got left right here, Jaws.
You better block that guy right there, Jared Allen, because he's kicking his heels back and he's coming after Aaron Rodgers.
Something quick to Greg Jennings up the middle, down at the 48. Did they get the timeout? Rodgers went over to the referee, Gene Steratore. Gene's blowing his whistle here at midfield. I don't know if this half's over. The Vikings are leaving. What's whistling back here? I think there's another play. I think Rodgers got the timeout, guys. He was right in the face of Gene Steratore, the referee.
Good awareness from Aaron Rodgers. A lot of times you see that quarterback running down the field, then call timeout. The minute he got the completion, he turned to Gene. He said, timeout, timeout, timeout.
Favre's checked out already.
Yeah, he's...
Now, you know, the receiver has to be down. The receiver has to be down.
Well, let's see. As he goes down, let's listen to Gene as we watch this.
Yeah, look at Rodgers making that call.
At the time the runner was down, Green Bay had called timeout with 1 second remaining in the half. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 1 second. Thank you.
And Steratore was very specific answering your question. At the time the runner was down,
he was calling the timeout. I mean, how many times have we seen the quarterback running down the field with his hands up in the air? The referee is right behind you. Throw the ball, have your hands in that tee so he knows the minute the runner goes down, hey, play's over with. Got themselves an opportunity for another play down the field.
Well, here's a play Aaron Rodgers certainly has the arm strength to execute. Get it into the end zone.
And guys, just checking that play with the clock, it was the right call. There was a second left. Well done by Steratore, the referee. Final play of the half. Rodgers looking for space to throw. Allen coming. Rodgers heaving downfield. Gets knocked down by Madieu Williams and brings us to halftime. Look at these guys yelling at Allen for taking that shot there at the end of the half. And Jared Allen going right over to the Packers staff. And he's being pulled away by some folks as Sterator, the official, has to get him out of there. There's the rush by Allen at the end of the half.
Jared Allen now. Aaron Rodgers rolls out and he's going to throw this. And Jared Allen, there's nothing wrong with that shot.
Here at Mall of America Field. New name, new sponsorship sold by the Vikings here at the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. Mike McCarthy's team has watched Brett Favre go 14 of 17 in that first half with a couple of touchdowns. See what Percy Harvin will do with this one. He'll just take a knee. Favre will start at the 20. What does Green Bay need to do, John, in the third quarter?
I think defensively, Dom Capers feels pretty good about stopping Adrian Peterson. 14 carries, 43 yards, but they got to get after that guy named Favre. They got to get Aaron Campman after the passer a little bit more, maybe even some creative pressure, because Brett is way too comfortable.
Yeah, I think offensively for the Packers, it's about pass protection. Jared Allen's been all over the field. Darryl College having a tough time with him. Keep a tight end and keep it back in, chip him a little bit, give Aaron Rodgers a chance.
Yeah, the 2 turnovers by the Packers turning into Favre touchdown-led drives and 14 points. Now the Vikings start this drive at their own 20. Peterson tried to cut it back. It's a pretty nice tackle there by Johnny Jolly with a penalty marker down. No flags on the Vikings in the first half. Asking Mike McCarthy if he wants to accept this one or decline it and make it 2nd and 9.
Illegal formation offense. Number 71, the left tackle, was the widest man on the line of scrimmage uncovered. The penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Okay, here's Michelle Tafoy.
Well, hey, Brad Childress told me at halftime that really the 2 scores by the Packers came down to 2 plays that they've given up. Just 2, he thinks, that they've given up today. He wants his defense to get off the field on 3rd down. As for Mike McCarthy, I'll tell you in a second.
You got it, Michelle. Percy Harvin in the slot. Favre to the fullback, Nafahu Tahi. Marked close to the 30s, a hair shy of the 1st down. Okay, Michelle, go ahead.
Well, Mike McCarthy, made it pretty simple. He said, we just have to quit making mistakes. There are going to be 3 things we talk about at halftime. Our 3rd down defense, the 2 turnovers, and the penalties. We simply have to clean those up. Mike?
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, he's going to have to address that 3rd down right here. 3rd and short for the Vikings. Chance for the Packers to make a stop, get the ball back.
See, both teams have been very good converting 3rd downs. With the Vikings converted a couple of 3rd and 11s that kept touchdown drives alive. Peterson left, gets this one, and bounces for a gain of 6 to the 35. Peterson right. Hurdles out of bounds after gaining only a yard or so. You're talking about Campman and that position switch, John. It's, I guess his tutor for this is a pretty good one to have for outside linebackers. Kevin Green, 3rd most sacks in NFL history. His 1st year as an assistant coach here in the league.
Well, there's no question that guy was a great player, Kevin Green. But Campman, in the last 3 years, has 37 sacks. That's 3rd in football. And now he's going to 7-on-7 drills, learning how to drop. I think they got to get a pass rush, and they need him to apply it.
A far shot caught by the tight end Shanko for the 1st down at the 44-yard line.
They brought Campman on a pass rush there, and it voided the area for Shanko. 1st down for the Vikings.
Well, here he is again, just on an inside slant, freeing up a gap for your guy, Brandon Chiller, to come around the corner on a blitz. It's a work in progress. There's no question Kevin Green, Dom Capers will get it together with Campman, but it's a whole new ball game for him playing out of this stance in a new defense.
Toss Peterson, try to force him back to the inside, and there the Packers are waiting for him. No gain for Peterson. They're not getting to Favre at all. All kinds of time for Brett. And finally hits Jeff Dugan, the tight end, to the 31-yard line. Gain of 25.
Yeah, this is almost embarrassing right now for the Green Bay Packers, not being able to put any kind of pressure on Brett Favre. You'll see Campman here, number 74 on Jim Kleinsass, and he backs up into coverage, looking back in the backfield, checks on Adrian Peterson, moving right, moving left. Watch the time that Brett Favre has in this huddle. No one's near him. Look at his pocket. The cradle's perfect to throw from, and he finds Dugan down the field.
And now takes a quick shot for burying. Touchdown.
Brett Favre has disoriented the Packer defense. Quick counts, movement in the pocket. You'll see Brett Favre here, just a quick one step, and it's a little stutter go. Bernard Barron gets behind Al Harris. Touchdown. Derek Martin does not get over the top. I'm not sure if Al Harris was expecting help or not, but Martin certainly did not get there. A little double move, got Harris.
Extra point, Longwell, and after that big gain to Dugan, Favre was telling the sideline, let's get this one in quick. Flint touchdown drives of 67, 77, 84, and 80 yards. Jordy Nelson's returning kicks because Will Blackman is hurt. And Nelson does a very good job up the sideline. Out of bounds at the 40. Marker down.
During the return, holding number 41 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down Green Bay, timeout.
Down 2 scores, starting at their own 18. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Garrett Allen driving the tackle back to Rodgers, so he's got to get out of there and run for about 4 yards. Green Bay has done very little in the run game tonight. Mistake there. And Allen ends up with a loss of 2. Rodgers uses his feet to buy time and hit Nelson for the first down. The second-year receiver out of Kansas State, Jordy Nelson, keeps the drive going.
And I think that's a big play right there to silence the crowd.
Yes.
Very important for Green Bay. Watch Aaron Rodgers. Here comes a stunt. He pushes up in the pocket, gets out of the pocket to his right. Good awareness, understanding as to who's supposed to be where. That's a clutch, calm, cool customer, Aaron Rodgers, number 12. How about that 6 for 6 on third down?
Yeah,
against the number 1 third down defense in football.
Jennings and Driver, not a huge impact on the game yet. Rodgers running for his life again down the sideline for Nelson.
Well, at the top of the drop, Aaron Rodgers is not getting his receivers open. The pocket's collapsing on him. Fortunately, he does have the mobility to get outside the pocket. The inside push from Kevin Williams, as you see him there, number 94, number 93, the Williams wall. They collapse the pocket. You see the pressure moving Aaron Rodgers outside the pocket. But what Aaron Rodgers can do is get outside the pocket and reset his feet and throw the football accurately. Good mechanics on the move.
Handed off inside to Ryan Grant following the block of Jason Spitz's left guard, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Charles Woodson, who John spoke of earlier, has been around the league for over a decade. Not a bouquet thrower. But Woodson said about his quarterback, he said Aaron Rodgers would be the best in the league if we can protect him. and he hasn't been protected all year. He's been running for his life in each game.
Donald Driver told us the same thing. This guy's a talented player, no question, but he shows tremendous poise. This is a big down here for Green Bay.
Third and 2, a quick shot for Driver into the secondary. Donald Driver with a first down at the 37-yard line, gain of 24.
Well, Mike McCarthy deserves a lot of credit. He went to a protection-based scheme. To the left of this, he gave the protection, and he wanted Donald Driver to have time to work down the field against Cedric Griffin. So he went with a maximum protection on Jared Allen's side. He had a tight end. He had a running back. About anyone he could find, he had over on that side to block Jared Allen.
How about the throw? 7 for 7 on third down. Aaron Rodgers is having a great night also.
He's the real deal, John.
Grant left. D. Williams showed him the sideline. 4th and goal. The Packers still the offense out there. They'll go for it on 4th down. Try to get within 7 of Favre and the Vikings.
Now, my feeling is I would take 3 points here. I'm probably in a minority. You've had a great drive right here. You want to walk away with some points anyway. But
we're in a shootout, Ron. Good call here.
You know what? I like your courage, John.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers. Rodgers passes, dropped by Lee. Coverage by Greenway. Mike McCarthy decided to go for the touchdown from the 1, but Minnesota's defense stops him 3 times in a row. And the Vikings take over from the 1, Jeff Dugan. From the 3, deep shot against Al Harris with Berrien. And that pass is incomplete. Rare incompletion for Favre tonight.
Well, you heard him use the hard count. And Ron, you played quarterback forever. You know, back up on your own 2-3 yard line. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're trying to get
a
a free 5 yards if you can. And boy, Brett Favre is a master at using the hard count.
You talk about big plays and big downs in a game for Green Bay. Here, if you can 3 and out, you're going to get the ball back in good field position.
A lot of time left.
Packers must get pressure. Don't play that soft defense here.
Favre throws to his tight end, Shanko, who just propelled his body through Al Harris for the first down.
That's amazing to me. On 3rd down and 8, how you can throw the ball into the flat and gain 9 yards and pick up a first down. No support. They got outflanked. Somebody blew the coverage, Jaws.
Had to. You can't leave a tight end that wide open in the flat. Uncontested throw. Shanko turns it up the field. First down for the Vikings.
From the 12, Peterson has been quiet since the first quarter. Could be the final play of the quarter. They've emptied the backfield. Favre throws it complete right near the first down marker for Berrien. Al Harris made the tackle as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Back for the 4th quarter in Minneapolis. Vikings lead by 14 as Brett Favre has been very solid. If you look at his passer rating to this point tonight, accumulation of all the stats, 148 for the evening. His career high was that Monday night game the day after his dad passed away at 154.9. He's never had a perfect rating game of all the great accomplishments he's had. First down throw off the hands of Chester Taylor and incomplete. Brandon Chiller was tagging him along the way.
You know, talking to Brad Childress, he says, when has anybody come to Minnesota and not tried to stop Adrian Peterson? Everybody tries to stop our running game. Adrian Peterson. Well, you know what? No one has ever had the game plan to stop the Viking passing attack. This guy Favre threw for over 300 yards last week. He's having a career night tonight. If this team becomes a two-headed monster that can run it and throw it, look out.
You saying Super Bowl?
I am.
Right. Go out on a limb.
The 22, here goes Peterson up the middle. Stopped shy of the 25. They've picked up their last 6 third downs. Again time. They picked up their last 7 third downs. Sidney Rice takes it to the 37.
Favre has not been sacked tonight. That's probably the most important stat. You know, as I said a number of times, he's going to be 40 next week. He took a beating last week. You want to protect him. Look at the throw. He's making every kind of throw. The touch throw, the stick throw, reading the coverage, putting the ball on the money so Sidney Rice can turn up the field. It's those little things about quarterbacking, throwing the football accurately.
There's the first Wildcat look of the night for the Vikings. Peterson in motion, takes the handoff from Peterson to Rice, who thought about throwing. Sidney now launches incomplete.
Sit down, John. Relax. I know you got all excited there.
Well, that was a trick play, to say the least. You never know with Percy Harvin. He is a joker. He is comfortable in any hand. He can play in any formation.
In time, as everybody was going back and forth, Cullen Jenkins hit the deck for the Packers. They'll check on him as we step out.
You know, there's 2 philosophies. You run to set up the pass, or you pass to set up the run. You'll start getting that 8th defender out of the box, and you'll see some holes for Adrian Peterson.
The injured Packer, Cullen Jenkins, suffering from cramps. Packers sideline tells me Shelley will return. 2nd and 10. Favre took a shot toward Rice, who almost looked like he wasn't ready for it, as Al Harris was over there in coverage.
That's what Brett Favre brings to the table. Sidney Rice. Watch Sidney Rice here. He's going to run a clear route. He has no intention of throwing this ball. They're looking for one of the 2 tight ends. Sidney Rice does not expect the football. And he's going to learn when you play with Brett Favre, bud, you are always live.
Great point.
I'm telling you, that is what Favre brings to the table.
Yeah, he had number 2, the inside receiver, open in the flat. But, you know, with Brett, you never know where it's going.
3 to the left. The guy in the middle is the one who stayed alive for that touchdown last week, Greg Lewis. Only a few plays here tonight. They clear space for Chester Taylor. Tackled shy of the first down by Nick Barnett, as Woodson brought the pressure.
Yeah, the Packers, Mike, they brought some pressure, and actually the Vikings dialed up the right play. They had the screen. You'll see Woodson come off the corner. Pressure on Brett Favre, but they had the right play on. Got it out in the flat on the screen. Chester Taylor in space is pretty darn good running back.
I think you got to credit the Vikings from taking the ball off their own 1-yard line and moving it out to the 40. Really changed field position.
Took about 4.5 minutes off the clock there. Jordy Nelson calls for and makes a fair catch at the 14. Only the 2nd drive of the half for the Packers, taking over their own 15. Rodgers sacked for the 6th time tonight. Jimmy Kennedy, former first-round pick of the St. Louis Rams, gets there.
And that's what Mike McCarthy said yesterday. He was more concerned with the rotation of the Vikings than anything. He felt they had 6, 7 very good rushers.
You'll see Kennedy coming on the inside, right up the middle. In Aaron Rodgers' face, Darren College down.
Yeah, his left tackle is filling in for Chad Clifton, who's already hurt.
Welcome to the NFL.
I was going to say good luck. Lined up with Jared Allen across from him. They'll just run it down here with Grant. Good run by Ryan. Try to get some of the sack yardage back to the injury to College.
Well, take a look at the left guard right here. This is Jason Spitz. He's going to get beat quickly by Kennedy. And that's what happens, Ron, when you have an injury to Chad Clifton at left tackle. You take your left guard, you make him the left tackle, and that's where College was and got hurt. Spitz, who was the center, has to go to left guard. You got to bring Scott Wells off the bench to play center. Clifton's injury has caused a 3-position change, and Green Bay is hurting on the line right now.
And they're confused at the line of scrimmage.
And it's 3rd and 7. And a snap goes to Deshaun Wood, a direct snap. intentional diversion there, I guess.
Yeah, that was a gimmick.
And a couple of yards shot.
They got me.
Well, notice what happened when Lang came in the game at left tackle. They ran back-to-back running plays.
Yep.
The Packers have given up 6 sacks tonight, and that's 18. And we're here in the 4th game of the season. The Packers have been sacked more than any team in football, but I think those are 2 good calls by Mike McCarthy given the status of their offensive line.
Arvin back for the punt from Campanos. Beg your pardon, Jamar Johnson back. Took it at the 27. Johnson cut it up the middle and returned it near midfield. It's the only place that's hosted a World Series, a Super Bowl, and the Final Four, all in the same building. Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. Brett Favre has struggled in this building before, but not now. 2+ touchdown passes his last 10 games in this building. That's an NFL record in this building. Nobody's come in here as a quarterback and thrown 2 or more passes for touchdown in 10 consecutive games. So he's got it figured out here now.
I couldn't agree more, man. You know you got perfect conditions every single time when you walk in his dome. And when you get him 40 years old, that certainly helps.
Peterson looking for space. Loss of 1.
You know, I'll go back to that last statistic I saw, Ron. Brett Favre, just so we're all on the same page, played 16 years in Green Bay.
That is correct.
They play outside. So every dome stadium he played in obviously was on the road. It's hard to win on the road. And some of these road teams, like the Minnesota Vikings, were very, very good. But I think he looks pretty comfortable in this dome stadium. I think he's warming up to it tonight.
I would say that's a good assessment.
Getting used to it.
Yeah, you're getting pretty good at this analyst stuff.
Against the 3-man rush, Favre throws it complete. Chester Taylor's a yard shy of the first down. Got a good mark. We'll check it.
Well, you just watch Brett Favre. He looks left, he looks left. He knows he's going to Chester Taylor on that little check down, but he's working the defense away, letting that soft coverage zone expand. That's what he does.
Yeah, but it's a 3-man rush. He looks left, pumps his shoulder, and then he knows exactly where his friend Chester Taylor is, and that's just a gain of 11 on 3rd and 12 on a little check down. But that's veteran quarterback play. This guy's rare. This guy has all the traits that he had 15 years ago.
I mean, his eye discipline, his understanding what the defense is doing, it's uncanny. We're out of practice on Saturday, and we're watching him like he's looking one way out in the flat, and he throws a slant back to the inside. And I don't know how he does it, but he's been doing it for a long time, about as good as anyone's ever done it.
Fans want him to go. Punting team's coming on here for 4th and about a foot. You know, the question for a lot of people, will Brad Childress be getting this play out of Favre as we go deeper in the season? One of the things they're doing is they're keeping him on a pitch count. They're not letting him throw those, what'd you say Holmgren had him do? Throw 4,000 balls a day in Green Bay when you were there? Yeah.
He was young.
He's a little under that. They're trying to watch him around 50, 60 throws a day in practice. Tavares Jackson, the backup quarterback's getting reps in hopes of keeping his arm fresh. Trying to help him from breaking down like he did last year. Chris Kluwe tries to kick it to the sideline. What a job by the Vikings special teams. 2 officials will make sure that they kept it out of the end zone, and they did. 99 to go for the Packers. Ryan Grant got out of the end zone. Antoine Winfield, Pro Bowler.
I love it.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
This guy loves contact. He's got a different kind of mindset. Remember, 5'9", 180 pounds. They call him a mini linebacker. This guy will blast you and like it. Antoine Winfield is having a Pro Bowl night.
8 tackles and a pick. 3 plays since the left tackle went out. All stuff to the right.
Every Monday night we have any plays like this, John.
Grant tries to get out. Barely able to get out. And guess who's there again? Winfield.
He cheats his run support unlike any corner I've seen. When they play too deep and he's primary force, watch him. He anticipates the run. He beats Driver to the inside. And he's not going in there playing touch football, guys. He's going in there with elbows, shoulder pads. He is an outstanding football player.
Well, you got to take advantage of that aggressiveness, run a little play action at him, and throw the ball quickly to Driver.
Play action would be a safety right now.
You may have a point there, Mike. But I got to throw it.
Here comes Allen. Picked up by Grant. There's the safety, almost. Instead, the ball comes out. Jared Allen again gets it done for the Vikings.
Watch how many guys the Green Bay Packers used to help T.J. Lang. And once you keep a running back in and you slide that way, you have to know you got to get rid of the ball.
And there's Jared Allen once again, relentless with his pursuit. He was blocked, he was chipped. As Aaron Rodgers stepped up, Jared Allen pursued, sack, tackle, fumble, Vikings ball.
Jared Allen, how about the guts of the Minnesota Vikings? Ziggy Wolf, the owner, Brad Childress, go out and trade for Jared Allen 1 year. The next year, go out and get Brett Favre out of retirement. How would you like to be a Viking fan?
Mike McCarthy has thrown the challenge flag. It'd be pretty good, by the way, to be a Viking fan. Mike over there challenging. It'd be interesting to see on this challenge. You may have Rodgers knee down.
Green Bay is challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble.
Yeah, it's going to be a safety.
Yeah,
it's going to be a safety. Yeah. This is one of the oddities of the challenge rule. This challenge, we believe, will give the Vikings points. It's a Packer challenge. Again, once the whole ball goes in the end zone, which Rodgers has it there, the whole ball has to come out. Allen, as he contacts Rodgers and the knee comes down, yeah, it's no fumble, but it's going to be called a safety, I would believe, by looking at that. Don't you guys agree?
Well, that official, he's got to review the whole play, right, Jaws?
That's correct.
So he'll look at the whole play. This is going to be a long announcement when they come out with their findings. They're going to reverse the call and announce it's a safety. And once it's all sorted out, this Viking crowd will go crazy.
So if that happens, it's 30-14, and the Vikings will get the ball on a free kick. In some ways, it kind of helps the Packers, because the Vikings are down here with 4 shots in the one to make it 35-14.
Yeah, with Adrian Peterson, you got to figure they're going to hammer that thing in. But, you know, Jared Allen caused 2 safeties last year.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he was, you put an offense near that goal line, you turn Jared Allen loose, man, he just sniffs the quarterback.
Yeah, but let's not forget, in fairness to the Packers, they have one heck of a left tackle named Chad Clifton, and he's outstanding. He's played left tackle for years for the Packers. He's hurt. He's going to be back hopefully after the bye. They had to rearrange their entire offensive line, and then they lost their backup. And they got to block the best pass rusher arguably in the league.
After review, the ruling is that the runner was tackled and downed in the end zone prior to fumbling the ball, which results in a safety. Green Bay will not be charged with the timeout. However, the safety will be awarded to Minnesota. Green Bay is also out of challenges. With the game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7 minutes, 21 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 7:21.
You're right, John. It was a long message.
It's also 7 sacks tonight for Aaron Rodgers. Half of them coming from Jared Allen, a career high for him. Another unbelievable night for Allen, who came over from KC last year.
Now that's 19 sacks of Aaron Rodgers in 4 games to this point. 7:21 to go in this one. I mean, that's an average of about 5 a game, and your quarterback's not going to finish the season taking that many hits. We thought we would see the quick passing game tonight, John. We thought they'd spread them out and get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand. Early started out that way, but give the Vikings credit. They took them out of their game plan. They shut down the wide receivers, didn't allow that quick passing game, and they just collapsed the pocket on Aaron Rodgers.
Minnesota Vikings are built to play with a lead at home. That pass rush in this noise with these players, it's a problem for the opposition, no question. But they got a lot of talent, and they're not going to quit in this game. And they got a lot of good things ahead of them this year, the Packers.
Well, you got some corrections to do on the defensive side. I thought they were very light on the pressure tonight. You know, we had the one play, Favre had almost 7.5 seconds, and any quick counts of hits a touchdown. They made an improper adjustment. You know, I think Dom Capers got to take this defense, take a good hard look at it. They're playing an old Blitzburg style of defense, but I didn't see a lot of the blitz part of that Blitzburg tonight. They're going to have to get more aggressive, and I think you mentioned earlier, John, got to take Aaron Campman and put his hand in the ground a little bit. This guy is a premier pass rusher, and he's dropping back 20 yards in coverage.
After a safety, it's a free kick, and the kickoff man was out there originally, but now the punter, Kapanos, comes out to kick it, and the Vikings adjust accordingly. 30-14, Minnesota leads. And Kapanos kicks back to Percy Harvin from the 20.
No 40-year-old quarterback has ever won a playoff game. I think Brett Favre might get that record too.
Peterson looking for space, and there's been none of that since the first quarter.
Call it whatever you want. I call that Brett Favre, and he's having more fun than he's ever had. Thrilled to see him back.
People question, why do you want to come back? Well, you've seen tonight why. This guy loves to play the game.
And Jeff Dugan, the tight end, coming over there. He'll make the catch in a very short game. I love what Brett told us on Saturday about that play. He said, no, go down and run all the way down. He said, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just kind of running after the play and block Willis. And he said, and Willis kind of reaches down, looks and sees that it's me. It's number 4. And as Favre said, I'll clean it up for you. What in the heck are you doing down here, number 4?
Yeah, well, Brett said he called the wrong play and Utley dropped back. He looked for a route that he thought he had called. It was the wrong call. He moved around. All of a sudden, he looks down the field. Oh, there's somebody open. I'll throw to him.
Got to be very careful here. Obviously, you do not want to turn the ball over. Expect them to be conservative here.
It's still a 2-possession game with a 2-point conversion. Chester Taylor turns it upfield, and he's down at the 45. So by getting that safety, at least it keeps Green Bay mathematically in the game, as long as they don't turn it over on the punt.
Yeah, let's not forget, they did an excellent job the last time they punted it, down at it inside the 5. And that's another change Brad Childress has made here. New special teams coach. Brian Murphy's come in here, and they've improved on special teams. And if they can improve this phase with the quarterback, that's 2 big issues for Minnesota.
Brian Murphy used to be at Wisconsin. Another guy. Spent a lot of time in Wisconsin to come over here. Kluwe kicks. Nelson lets it go. Wow. About as good as you can do from Chris Kluwe tonight.
Wow, that is big time.
From the 4, Ryan Grant with some space has a first down. Mediu Williams there to knock him down, or didn't run over, actually. One pick was his mistake. Quick pass for Jones, incomplete. Cedric Griffin on the coverage. But, guys, it goes back to the point that we made earlier, that Charles Woodson and Donald Driver made to us, and you guys made before. You know, you're going to compare Aaron Rodgers to Favre down the line. If the guy doesn't get any time, you're going to have no chance to succeed.
He's been under duress tonight. You know, those 7 sacks are one statistic that shows that, but all night he's had bodies around him, taking hits, throwing the ball before he wanted to. It's been a rough night for him as far as his body getting beat up.
Second and 10, getting rid of it quick for Michael Finley. A touchdown earlier. Look at Jared Allen, who's been rushing the passer all night. 45 yards downfield to make the tackle. This game's still alive here with 4:14 to go. It's a 16-point deficit.
Aaron Rodgers did a fantastic job of reading the pressure up the middle in the A-gap. Got rid of the football, had Finley quick, read the blitz, big play for the Packers.
Rodgers buys time, takes off. Going to get out of bounds and pick up a first down here with 3:52 to go, 2 timeouts.
You know, Green Bay offensively has had a lot of success against the Vikings blitz package tonight. The big play you just saw there was against the blitz. Earlier, they found Finley for a score against the blitz. I'm surprised the Vikings just don't get after him with that 4-man rush. and do what they really do best, which is play zone defense.
Yeah, I agree, John. They've handled this offensive line with their base rushes. They come with a blitz, and that's where Aaron Rodgers has been successful.
Greg Jennings hasn't caught a ball in at least 2 quarters. Rodgers behind Finley, and incomplete. We'll have second down coming up.
Yeah, that's just one of those plays where they didn't see the field with the same eyes. You know, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball to Finley expecting he was going to sit down in that void. Finley continued the outside, hence the incompletion.
You know, when you watch Jared Allen, remember, this guy played 95% of the snaps last year, more than any defensive lineman, I think, in the league.
That's it.
And he is still running like it's the first play of the game. I don't know where he gets this kind of energy. He's even leading cheers.
Number 33, Rodgers to Jordy Nelson. They cleared space, and Nelson up the field for the touchdown. They'll go for 2, down 10.
Big 2-point conversion coming up. Aaron Rodgers once again moving in the pocket, extend the play. Look at the throw to Jordy Nelson. He splits the safety, gets it to the end zone. Aaron Rodgers, eyes downfield, finds Jordy Nelson.
Can't tell you how impressed I am with Aaron Rodgers. How tough is Aaron Rodgers? He's been hit, thrown around, he's hung in there, and they're still in this ball game.
6 plays, 96 yards in 79 seconds. They hit a 2-point conversion to Jennings in week 1. The only one they've tried this year. This to make it a 1-possession game. Jimmy Kennedy was busted in. Not Kennedy, I beg your pardon. Kevin Williams busted in. He says he was induced.
Moves it to the 1.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 93. Defensive player entered the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. It's a penalty half the distance to the goal. First down.
You go in with 2-point plays. When you get to the 1, that change where you go on your play sheet?
Yeah, you go to your goal line offense. It all depends on what you feel good about against this Viking defense. I'd stay out of the goal line. We've seen what happened there earlier in the ball game. They're going to spread them and take their chances.
It looked like Kevin Williams was watching the helmet of Jason Spitz, the center, trying to get that quick jump off the ball. You know, centers develop a rhythm out of that shotgun. Kevin Williams jumped the gun.
Neutral zone infraction on the kickoff. They'll now attempt to try.
Yeah, so they'll take the 5 on the kickoff here.
They're going to throw it. They want to give themselves a little extra room. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a quarterback draw.
I was thinking the same thing. Rodgers can run. Got Henderson over the middle. I doubt if they would run that draw now.
Allen chasing, shovels it forward, and it's incomplete. You might as well at that point. You're not going to get an interception or a chance to take it back. And Rodgers continues to take a beating here. 30-20, and we'll be looking at an onside kick with 3:40 to go.
You see Rodgers in the gun. He looks out to his left, comes back to his right. Pressure on the outside, steps up, has no chance, tries to make a play, flicks it out to Ryan Grant, incomplete. Boy, all night, Rodgers has been throwing under duress.
Also credit to the Vikings. There's Fred Evans. They've had Jimmy Kennedy. A lot of different guys involved tonight. They are a very deep defensive line.
Rodgers now up to 316 yards on 21 of 30. Had a solid night, but boy, he's been pummeled by this Viking defense. He's not feeling too good on that bench right now.
Talk about if Favre is going to make it through this season.
Yeah.
Rodgers is going to be the one, the way he's getting beaten. So we'll get an onside kick here, and the Vikings have their hands team on.
Well, the Chargers worked their way back in the game last night against the Steelers. That onside recovery. About a 10% chance of getting the onside kick.
Hey, Mike McCarthy's team has continued to fight, though. That was very impressive by Aaron Rodgers and his offense. going 96 yards and making a game out of this.
Mason Crosby gets the bounce, and a good job coming forward by Sidney Rice. While you put the hands team on. Tall receiver with good ball skills. Goes up to get it, and the Vikings take over with 3:39, and Green Bay has 2 timeouts remaining.
Yeah, that pop-up kick here by Mason Crosby is beautifully executed. That ball's hanging there, and that is a live ball. You can't fair catch it. You've got to go up and just take it away. The wedge of the Vikings did a really good job of clearing out the Packers coming after Sidney Rice.
This is the 4-minute offense. And Brett Favre is telling everybody, hang on to the ball and stay in bounds.
Number 45, here goes Peterson. With nowhere to go, Green Bay will take a timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. Peterson left. He slides down to stay in bounds. What a very intelligent play by Peterson, forcing Green Bay to use its final timeout at 3:27.
Just what John was talking about. Stay in bounds, sacrifice.
That's good coaching.
Yeah, did you coach before?
Well,
I'm kidding, man. I know you hoisted that Vince Lombardi trophy. One of the best in the business, man.
The clock is the enemy here, man.
Yep, and just a reminder that as soon as the game is done, Michelle Tafoya will have a live interview with Favre on the field. Hear from him for the first time after going up against the Packers. And then, of course, after that, you get that full SportsCenter coverage with the guys.
And one thing about the Minnesota Vikings, they've been together. You know, Childress, Leslie Frazier, offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell. That battery's been together for 3 years, and wouldn't you know, that's the longest battery in the league.
3 years?
3 years.
Well,
hard to believe.
Yeah, what if you're Buffalo, Tampa, and Kansas City? You just fire your coordinators, and combined record cumulatively is 1-11.
Firing them in the preseason.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It's a 3rd down. Favre's back to throw. He's going to take a deep shot down the field for Berrien, who's out of bounds. Incomplete. And that stops the clock, so that gives the Packers a little aid. With 3:21 left, they'll get the ball back after a punt.
How about that call, John?
How about that throw?
How about the call?
You know, I think, too, sometimes when you're looking at these receivers, they've got to leave a little bit of room from the sideline, but that ball was dropped in there perfectly also.
What do you mean, how about the call? That's a bad call. I mean, let's run the ball
Run
here.
the ball, yeah. I mean, we're just giving A.J.
Yeah.
Peterson props for staying in bounds.
Absolutely.
They go, they call a 50-yard bomb. Now we'll take a look at it here.
I guess they feel like Kluwe will knock him inside the 5. It's been the 1 and the 4 the last 2 kicks. Jordy Nelson muffs it. Didn't get it back yet. It's still free on the ground.
It looked like Greenway recovered it. That massive humanity, you just don't know.
Slipped through 2 sets of arms, and it's a bottom of the pile deal now.
And it gets nasty at the bottom of that pile.
That means move the chains. The Packers have the ball back. So it'll be Green Bay ball. And, you know, guys, you talk about a couple of things. You have a punt returner who went out with injury earlier in this game for Green Bay, when Will Blackman got hurt. And then you have the last 3 punts being down at the 15, the 1, and the 4. So the pressure was on for Nelson to try to make that play. Well, the 2 timeouts and the incompletion means that possession only took 30 seconds.
Not real good clock management.
And for Aaron Rodgers, it's been all night. Long field and 69 coming off the edge, Jared Allen. He got some time here, throws the driver, who equals the Packer record for most career receptions. He ties Sterling Sharp with that catch.
And really, let's not forget, it's a 2-score game. Don't be surprised if the Packers don't move it into field position and kick a field goal, then try the onside kick.
Allen chasing, Rodgers launching. Not to give Jared 4.5 sacks for the night.
Honestly,
relentless.
Aaron Rodgers is looking around his shoulder like, are you done yet?
to your sideline, please.
I mean, he will not quit. There's a guy getting chipped. He comes all the way around the horn. If you want to be a defensive end and you're sitting at home, you need to stand up and applaud this guy. Because that's how you win. That's how you dominate. Energy, effort.
And you better be in great shape.
Back to the tight end, Lee, nowhere to go. Kevin Williams off the nose, making the play. Packers used them all, no timeouts, can't stop it.
Yeah, with Kevin Williams in there, he's fast, he's quick, he sniffed out that screenplay.
On third down, a shot to James Jones, wide open in the secondary to the 40 as we get to the 2-minute warning.
Hey, Mike, I'm going to go back to that field goal attempt that they went for it on fourth down. If they would have kicked that field goal rather than being overly aggressive at that point in the game, they'd be driving for a tying touchdown here.
You refer to Green Bay late third quarter.
Yes,
2-minute warning here, 10-point game, no timeouts, and this is going to be stopped because it's unabated to the quarterback.
Offside defense, number 69, unabated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Hey, let me tell you, this game is far from over. Green Bay is going to try to run as many plays as they can quickly. They'll be willing to kick a field goal right here and give them a chance for another possession. But if I'm Minnesota, if I'm on the Viking sideline, I might use a defensive timeout to straighten out my 2-minute defense because we are not functioning like a Viking defense right now.
1st and 5 with a little pressure look. Rodgers has a career-high passing yard night, 358. To Grant out of the backfield. Ryan to the sideline. Gets as much as he can and gets out of bounds. Intelligent play, Ryan Grant. Took 6 seconds.
The Minnesota Vikings brought pressure to the right of Aaron Rodgers. You'll see it coming. He knows he's got Ryan Grant leaking out to the left. That's the soft spot of a zone blitz defense. Well read by Aaron Rodgers. Deliver the ball to Ryan Grant. Moves the ball down the field. They came with the blitz, and they paid a price.
You need a lot. You need a score, onside kick, successful recovery, field goal. But they've kept themselves alive. Rodgers, Allen. 4.5 sack night, Jared Allen.
This is a clinic on pass rushing. John said a moment ago, when you watch this guy stand up and applaud, I'm ready to stand.
Since 1982, when the sack became an official stat, no one's had that many on Monday Night Football. 4.5. Quick toss to Lee. To the 14. Inside of 80 seconds when they snap it next time. This is 3rd down, remember.
Take a shot here and don't hesitate to throw it away if you're the quarterback. Kick the field goal.
Right. 3rd and 6. Looking towards Jordy Nelson at the top. It was covered. Now Rodgers throws incomplete. And the field goal unit will come on.
Once again, an excellent drive by the Green Bay Packers. And Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers deserve a lot of credit. Here's a situation. It's the right play. You kick the field goal. You make it a 30-23 ball game. And you bring your kicker out for another onside kick. You got a chance.
Mason Crosby on to try to make it a 7-point game. And he does just that. 31-yard field goal with 55 seconds left. Well, this is
Stay tuned.
This is typical of the Packers and the Vikings over the years, guys. 12 of the last 13 games in this series have been decided by 7 or less. Only 0-7 at Lambeau, a 34-0 Packer win. Changing that.
I love the way the Green Bay Packers have come back. I mean, they were 30-14. They were behind by 16 points just a few moments ago. They have hung in there, done a great job, and given themselves a chance now for a dramatic onside recovery.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, I think the Vikings, to a certain degree, have allowed them back in this game. That third down bomb, you know, if they would have ran the football, more time off the clock, they had a flea flicker with a 10-point lead. You know, they've given the Packers some opportunities as well to crawl back and fight back and scratch your way into only a 7-point deficit now.
And don't forget that Packer challenge that ended up being a safety, giving Minnesota 2 points when it would have been first and goal at the 1 to go to 35-14. We said it could have benefited them, and it did. Mason Crosby, the onside kick. Got the good bounce last time. Got another good bounce. Sidney Rice goes up again and makes the play for the Vikings. That should close it out.
Well, Sidney Rice at 6'4", I'm sure was a great rebounder when he played basketball, because these are two fantastic pop-up kicks from Mason Crosby. Watch the hang time on this pop-up kick. It allows the Packer defenders to get down and look at him go up and take the football. But good job by that wedge of the Vikings in front of Sidney Crosby, so he can't get a clean shot. He got some ups too there, John.
That takes some guts too, man, I'm telling you. My favorite play in football right here. Genuflex. We used to call this the victory play.
Well, guys, you wonder what it feels like for Favre, who has now defeated every team in the National Football League. This was the only team that he had not beaten because he had never played him. And Mike McCarthy, GM Ted Thompson, the Packers made the decision to get their franchise back and not be waiting for what Favre's going to do. They wanted to go forward with their quarterback of the future, Aaron Rodgers. And you saw tonight under duress, with little help from the O-line, what Rodgers is about. But in the end, Favre beats the Packers 30-23. We'll hear from him live in a moment. Former teammates from the Packers who went over to greet Favre. .5 sack night for Jared Allen. Donald Driver tied with Sterling Sharp, most catches in Packer history, 595. Most of those catches from that guy. Donald Driver catching so many balls, and there's the moment. The greeting with Favre and Rodgers. And now Michelle's down there. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Brett, as a quarterback, you always have fun. How much fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was a big win for us. As I told you guys this week, they have a great football team. We did what we had to do. They did a good job of shutting our running game down. And we threw the ball better than I thought we would throw it. Offensive line, outstanding. That was not what I predicted, but it was a lot of fun.
You look a little bit emotional right now. How would you describe what you're feeling?
I'm proud of our football team. You know, I am emotional, but I'm always emotional. I take a lot of pride in the way I play, and I knew there was a lot, as there is every week, riding on our games. And this one carried a little more weight, but it was everything it was billed to be.
You had said you didn't feel you needed to prove yourself, but you kind of wanted to. Human nature. Was this your statement, Brett? Is it done? Did you prove it?
My statement has been what I've done over my career. In one game, I told you guys this as well. That one game does not define my career, good or bad. I know what I've done. I'm proud of what I've done. I'm here to help this football team win. I wasn't out to prove anything. I know I can play. I just wanted to do whatever it would take to win, and fortunately we did.
You have downplayed the word revenge. You want to set that record straight at all? This has got to be sweet, Brett.
Oh, it's sweet, but it has nothing to do with revenge. You see their quarterback played extremely well, as I knew he would. And he will continue to play well. once again, I know what I've done throughout my career. It speaks for itself. They chose to go in a different direction. We play them again. We were fortunate enough to win tonight, but all it means is we're 4-0. I'm pretty proud of that.
Well, one other thing you've added to the resume, you are the only player in NFL history to have defeated all 32 teams. How does that strike you?
Well, I guess you got to be remembered for something, so.
Hey, happy birthday coming up. This was the last game in your 30s. Go get them in the 40s, huh?
Thanks for reminding me. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. 40's the new 30, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Only quarterback to beat every team in the NFL, all 32 teams. He leads the Vikings to 4-0. We have 5 teams at 4-0. Haven't had that before in the NFL.